T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rock the world. Rock the world. With me, no worries, come with me. No worries, just come with me. No worries, just come with me.
Yeah, what up? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of the King and Me show, King.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
And we coming at y'all live and on an impromptu live stream this Thursday, January to something another.
20.
Hey, these days be running quick. You hit the 10th of the month and then the rest of the month flies by.
I told y'all, like, you need to believe me when I say this. The 10th is that marker. When we hit the 10th, the month is over. Just cancel it. It's done. It's all over.
Hey, I agree. First of all, you look good, girl.
So do you, baby.
You looks good.
Look at you, all handsome and whatnot.
Hey, we both had a day working our jobs, getting through some other events, getting to the gym. I mean,
Well,
phew.
actually, only one of us made it to the gym today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, only one of us made it to the gym today. This one had, so I have what I like to call self-diagnosed plantar fasciitis. I add the self-diagnose at the beginning because technically no doctor has diagnosed me, but between me and WebMD and Google, I've come to the conclusion that that's what I have. And after working out for these 3 days, the walk that I do at work in the morning, and just everything else that I do, I woke up this morning and I was unable to stand up. I had pain before I even got out the bed. So I was like, I think it's best that I just chill today.
All right. Well, I'm glad you at least walking now and able to do some things.
I'm walking.
All right, y'all. So if y'all don't know who we are a new-ish couple.
Here he goes.
Still in the honeymoon phase.
Still in the honeymoon
When we make
phase.
it through 18 months.
Do you know when 18 months is?
12 plus 12 is October. November, December, January, February, March, April of this year, y'all. I got a finger count. April of this year, we will be past our. No, that's.
Yes.
Did I do 16?
You did it correctly.
Okay, I did it correctly. Thank you.
You know how I know? Because my birthday is in September, so 6 months after my birthday is March. So I can always tell the 6-month mark.
See, you in numbers. Y'all, I be horrible with the dates and numbers. She remember the first kiss.
Well, actually, no, that's the one I don't remember. The first kiss is the one thing I don't remember.
Shame.
But you remember it.
Do I?
You said you remember the kiss. I don't know if you remember the date.
I remember the event.
I don't remember the date. I think it was a Thursday. I think it was a Thursday after Thursday night football. I think so.
So we come on live, talk about dating, relationships, and things like that, as we're both content creators and we're both comfortable being in front of a camera and talking, right? So we're trying to combat the narrative that there's not trash people out there in the dating pool, although a good bit of people are indeed trash. All right, so we met on, you can call it a setup. It wasn't a blind date type situation.
It was for you, apparently.
It was a setup, and I was resistant to it. And fast forward, here we are now. So we're streaming across multiple platforms. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and X right now. But we're also streaming on my homeboy's channel, Perry Productions. Shout out to him. Thanks for allowing this black couple to come on your platform and talk about what we talk about.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank
Am
you so
I
much.
missing anything?
No, I think you're good. I think we got all the marketing out the way. So let's get into it because we don't have time to.
Speaking of time, I do have to say this real quick. I
What's
told
up,
you that I
babe?
went to the gym. Have you ever been naked in the shower and caught a cramp in your leg? Have any of y'all ever came back from the gym and been naked in the shower and caught a cramp? Just me? Am I the only one that's happened to? Y'all gonna leave me out here alone on the island by myself? I see how y'all do.
Hello, in the room. It's just you and your crayon.
Are we gonna do our? I
Do you
think we can
want?
skip it today.
Yeah, I think we can skip it because we're doing it impromptu. So you can get all that flavor on a Monday when we're normally live, but today you just gonna get us. Oh my gosh, like my ankles are so.
Focus.
Okay.
Today's topic is know your worth.
Yeah.
Now, why we picked this?
So after our live on Monday, I had a conversation with someone, and from that conversation, I realized that that person is struggling to understand their worth. And it was a conversation that I ended up having with that person. And I'm just like, I need you to know that you are worth more than you truly know and more than you truly understand. And that's something that I think people struggle with. And because they don't know their worth, they get undervalued in this dating market. Like we've talked about this before, that we're currently in a dating market and that there is value and worth to pretty much everything, or there's an ROI that we're looking at. So we're business people. So return on investment, there's an ROI that people are looking at as they are putting in that time to go out and choose, make the choice to be on the dating market. And in order to compete on the dating market, like really businessy, sorry, in order to compete on the in
but
the
it
business
is
market,
competing.
yeah, you have to know your worth, because if you don't know your worth, then no one else is going to be able to give you the correct appreciation of your worth. And I think this is something that just I felt really in my spirit that we needed to have this conversation. So I'm glad we were able to get it out this week.
Are you able publicly to say the demo of this person that you had that conversation with, male, female, age range?
It was a man and older than me, but not too much older.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm 37, so older than me, but not too much older.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time a man's in his 30s, you should know, if you've been around men, if you've been socializing and things, you should have an understanding of what your worth is. In my opinion, and some people call me crazy for this, but as I've gotten older, I'll be 40 this year, I don't believe that we should be even getting in serious relationships until we're in our 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a tricky situation, because if you get into a situation where you're just having fun, right? If you're not protective about it, you can have an accidental family in your 20s. But getting into something that's serious, not a lot of people, in my opinion, know their worth, or I'm just going to say it quite frankly, have built enough value for themselves to understand really what their value is going into their 30s and beyond.
Yeah.
I think people aren't getting mentored at a younger age, and they're focused on everything else except what they need to do internally. It's so easy to look and see people that are in their 16s, 17s, 18s, about to cross into adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
that are building, that I can look at them and go, by the time that person's 30, they're going to be not rich. I'm going to say wealthy. That person's going to be wealthy because they're doing things now to build some things up. So they can definitely stand 2 toes down, 10 toes down, 2 feet down, not feet, 2 feet down,
Okay.
and be able to know what their worth is. But I think for somebody that age, that's interesting that they felt that way.
Well, okay, so let's backtrack. So first of all, when we talked on Monday, I talked a little bit about my past, avoiding certain words because we're trying to be YouTube and Facebook friendly. So I avoided certain words. And you had to put two and two together as to what I was saying. Well, this conversation came from the fact that this person said that they had had a traumatic experience also in their youth. And the thing that I think sometimes gets lost in the dating market is that people do go through traumatic experiences, and if no one has ever corrected them and let them know like who they are, how valued they are, and all that stuff, then they don't know and they don't learn that at any good period of time. So if you spend all these years, all these decades not having anyone affirm you, or not having anyone tell or you not building and learning exactly who you are and your worth, then you're going to struggle at a certain age to be able to identify it. And yeah, you're going to end up in your 30s and not know your worth, not know your true value.
I agree, because after my divorce, I struggle dated for a while. But part of that struggle dating was not really doing a really good self-assessment of where I was at. I was legit blind to where I was sitting and why I wasn't really getting what I would say positive results out on the dating market. Is I didn't really know my worth, but I also didn't assess it properly. It took me actually taking myself out the market
Yeah.
and focusing. Like, you hear people say it all the time. If you get it, take yourself out and focus on yourself, things will change. It's such a cliche thing, and it's simple to say because there's a lot of steps that go into that. But really, when you take those steps and you take yourself off the dating market and legit invest in yourself, that's what I'm telling you, your life will freaking skyrocket. But people don't want to take the time and the effort to just focus on them.
Yeah.
They want to spread themselves out too thin amongst other things. And it's like, what's the return on investment back for you when you don't really have that much giving up for yourself? And that's separate from what you were talking about in the situation that you had that conversation with. But I think that both of those are two good examples of having an understanding of where you can start. And it starts by focusing on yourself and building yourself up.
But so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just giving another side of it. How can one do that when all we see in society are couples and people dating and everyone going out? There's a part of us that's going to want that too. And here's why I say this. Your friend got us, because I'm going to just say us hooked on a show, and it's called Love on the Spectrum, and it's on Netflix, and it's about
it's a good show.
all of these people who are on the autism spectrum, who have autism spectrum disorder, and beautiful souls. Just as I like to say about my niece who also has autism, your puzzle pieces fit differently. So it's just, things are a little bit different from you. And again, it's a spectrum. So you have a wide range of abilities, and it's a beautiful thing, but they're on this show and they're trying to find love. So y'all watch the US version. I take it a step further. I watch the US, and I'm wrapping up with the Australian version right now. So I'm getting, a little bit down under too. So I'm watching all of this, and the one thing I see is that the people who are on this show, they desire love because that's all they've seen. Every single action movie, no matter how actiony it is, there's a love scene in there. Every rom-com obviously has romance in there. Comedy movies have romance in there. There's some level of romance, every single thing. And as I'm listening to these participants talk about their likes and how they're so passionate about it, there's a romance on everything. There's a romance even with sports. Lord, even with sports, there's a romance in it. Okay, so if you're like, but come on, you are looking at the same football games that I'm looking at. So on this coming Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens, go Ravens, are going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the romance story behind there? Because we definitely aren't talking about Kelsey and Mahomes. We are not talking about them.
Taylor Swift and the Swifties.
Exactly, because there is a romance in there. Romance sells, and that's what everyone is seeing.
Nice.
So now you have people all over the world, not just the country, not just people with spectrum disorder, but you have people all over the world who are associating every single thing with romance. I'm associating food with romance. I'm associating going to the gym with romance because I see people posting them and their boo all booed up in the gym. Like everything has that association to romance. So with every single corner that you turn, if all you see is romance, then there is some part of you that's like, I need to be in a relationship. And you're going to want to pursue that relationship because it's everywhere in every aspect of society, more so than you're going to want to pursue bettering yourself and knowing your worth, because you don't see that as loudly broadcasted as you do seeing being in a relationship.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because sex sells. Romance sells. It sells. If it didn't sell, we wouldn't see it in every Marvel movie. Every Marvel movie, there's an element of romance in there in some capacity. Even despite the humor that's in there, there's a level of romance that's in there. If you don't believe me, let's look at Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is about a teenage girl, yet there's still an element of romance even as you look at her parents, because they are a couple. They're together, they're happy. And then you have the brother who is getting in a relationship too. Like, it's a relationship. Relationships are everywhere in every single thing that we look at.
All right, there's a comment here because I'm gonna have to think on that one here. But there's a comment here. Shout out to Jay Buchanan Jr. over on Facebook. He said, "Been single for 5 years until I find somebody that matches all of my boxes." This looks like a
If that looks like a box, that's a box.
Oh, like a check box.
Check box.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Why'd you use a check mark, fool? Hey, man, that's my homeboy JJ. Shout out to him. You know I wasn't really calling you a fool. Single 5 years? Hey, good on you. As a matter of fact, had I not went to that event, your boy would still be single. So you and I have been in a relationship since October of 22. Right? And it's been an interesting ride. I tell people I'm not judging our relationship off of these first 18 months. Everybody be goo goo gaga in the first 18 months, right? So I'm not judging our relationship based off of the first 18 months. We were laughing actually at the intro video because the intro video has been a collection of photos over our time that we've been together. And Michelle said something like, "Oh, we were such babies in those photos." It's only been like a year.
But we've been taking photos and posing and booing up ever since we first met, which was in August. And we are coming up on that 18 months of August.
Were you at odds or uncomfortable? Because I think men and women look at posting up pictures of your boo thing different.
Oh, yeah, we do. I remember when you were first like, I'm going to post this picture. I was like, oh, snap. I'm getting posted. Yes. Now, granted, I wasn't on the regular timeline. I was only in the stories, but I was like, boo, I'm still in there. Okay. I'm in the stories. Hey. I was happy. Okay.
Oh, snap. Hold on. So you was happy about them 24 hours?
I was happy about the 24 hours.
Yo, that is hilarious.
Because I count my blessings wherever I get them. So I was happy about my 24. Oh, here we go.
I know my worth.
You know your worth, baby.
I'm putting on my crown because I know my worth. All right? My name is King. I got my crown. So for a while, I'm going to sit here with this crown because this tells me that I know my worth.
And it looks good. Look at the imagery. Like it looks good. It looks good.
So you were talking about how people look at social media and how there's romance and everything. I'm looking at romance being lost. There's a video, and I'm going to play a little bit of it because what some men are starting to see now as they're getting out here dating is they're looking at women who are putting a specific price tag to what they're wanting just to get their attention. One lady on Kendra G's show, she has this dating service called Live on Kendra, Singles on Kendra or something like that.
Yeah.
And she posts the different highlights, right? The ones that'll definitely get the views. But a good bit of the people that show up on her channel seeking someone for marriage or whatever their reason is, show up and they talk about all these different stuff. For example, and I don't have this video queued up, one lady said you need to have at least $500 of discretionary income for dating.
Clip.
Now, on the surface, she's not wrong in you should have discretionary money for dating. But then you let her keep talking, and she clearly says that $500 discretionary income that the man has is for her to do things with. And she says something like, if you have that discretionary money, I get it, and I'll use that for, to buy us food, and I'll cook for you, and I'll in turn invest it in you. And I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, she's selling wolf tickets. Because she's talking about how she's a serial entrepreneur, okay? But then later on, she talks about how broke she is. And then she says, if you're an entrepreneur, then you understand like how the money works and things like that. So I'm like, how you going to take my money and invest back in me when I'm listening to you talk?
That you can invest in your own in yourself.
And you can't invest in yourself. Like, do you not hear how you sound? And as she's talking about this, she's making it seem like her worth is this inflated thing. And I'm listening as somebody that's a little bit smarter to the game.
Okay.
And I'm like, baby, no, your worth is, you might think your worth is here in your head, but somebody that does have a little bit of value to them, they're going to see right through that and be like, no, you can't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Because you're not understanding what your actual value is. I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, I think men do a fair job of assessing what their value is a majority of the time. Women will overinflate their value 10 times. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why? I don't understand. You're a woman. Can you translate that for me?
No, because I downplay myself. That's why I'm like, huh? I play the humble role, and I play it well. That's one thing. I may overestimate how humble I am, but no, I play the humble role. Meek, humble. That's just me.
Hey, Tarika, I appreciate you popping in.
Hey,
she said, what you got on your head, King? My crown, because I know my worth.
Because every king needs a crown, okay?
Tarika gonna say every king need a queen. Don't get her started.
Look, well, she's not wrong on that.
Don't get her started.
She's not wrong.
Okay, you my queen?
Always.
Yeah. Thank you, baby. Hey, Tarika, I appreciate you pulling up. So, I'm going to play this clip. If you can, put in those headphones real quick.
Put them in.
And there's a video that's been circulating of a lady.
The left or the right?
That's the right one. I have the left
one.
one.
I'm a little special.
And, I've said that the left one's mine and the right one's yours. And I'm going to play this clip. And tell me. Now, I know that this is an opposite example of the story that you led with. But here's somebody talking about their worth. And this is a short version.
Later, he reached out and he asked me out to dinner on our first
Can you start
date.
the video?
He met me during my birthday month. We met like 3 weeks before my actual birthday, and for my actual birthday, I was going to Morocco. We went on our first date, and then we went on our second date a week before I was supposed to leave for Morocco. So he already, asked me out for our third date, but because it was my birthday month, I told him that I wasn't going to go on a third date with him unless he was going to have a gift for me, because it's my birthday month. You are courting me. You want to take me out. You want to spend time with me. What do I look like spending time on my birthday month with a man who's not going to buy me a gift?
Who's not going to buy me a gift? What do I look like spending time with a man because it's my birthday month? What do I look like spending time with someone who's not going to buy me a gift? I know my worth, Michelle. This is what men are coming into the dating market saying. The longer version of this video, she explained that she said that he asked if she could come to his hotel room. And she's like, well, I'm going to put a price on my kitty cat. And that price is $1,000. And this guy laughed and was like, well, I don't just carry $1,000 cash or whatever, yada yada. Why are you looking at the crown?
I'm not looking at the crown. I'm looking at you.
Okay. And they ended up going on several dates, But one of the things that he brought up was making things exclusive. And I'm like, why do you want to make things exclusive for her? At least her version of the store was he brought up making it exclusive. And she's like, well, I have other men that are taking care of this. A person that pays for her nails, a person that takes her out to Boston Celtics games and things like that. And she's like, are you going to be able to cover all of these things that these other men are doing in order for me to be with you and now engaged to you? And he said yes. Wealthy 50-year-old white guy. All right. Knowing your worth, men are out here competing and they're in the market against that. And I think it's jacking up the whole dating marketplace.
It is jacking up the whole dating marketplace. On the one hand, all right, sis, props to you. You have set a value on something. No offense, but what's the YouTube clean version for you? No, you're selling yourself. There.
Streetwalker.
Okay, you're a streetwalker because you were literally putting a price tag on you. And that's...
See? It's tough, ain't it? It's tough because it's hard not to look at most dating as a strictly transactional thing. Screw love. Everything has a price tag to it.
No,
everything.
It can't be that because it doesn't last. What if the money runs out?
Then it's on to the person who was taking care. Oh, the person who took care of my nails. He had a yacht. Let me circle back to him.
No. See, I'm not about that life. I am about the give me the man that I love. My most valuable commodity is my time. And I am willing to spend that with someone who makes time, like, I don't even notice that time is passing because I'm enjoying every single moment that I'm with this person. Like, time just flies by in their presence. That's what I want. Skip all the other stuff.
Tarika said, king and queen, if people value money more than anything, you got to remember numbers never end. So that's what they value. They don't value themselves. They'll always be chasing the money. But they'll be chasing the money as long as they have something that those guys would value too. Because she was in her 30s. The guy was a wealthy person in his 50s. Do you think if she was in her 50s that he was going to give her the time of day?
Of course not. And do I think that when she's in her 50s that he'll still give her the same time of day? There's a reason why he's single and in his 50s.
Uh-huh. So, hey, sis, if you watching and or listening, because we do have people watching and listening, you better save as much as you can. Or I don't know what y'all's prenuptial situation is, because guys around that category, they do get you with the prenup. You better ensure that you have enough that when you get in your 50s and closer to that retirement age, that you can live and be all right, or find you another sucker. I said it. That's what I said.
Look, that's why you need to be with someone for love. Skip all that. But on the real, you do need to know your worth. And if it's one thing that we can say about homegirl, she put a price tag on something because she feels that that's what it's worth.
Hey, in the market, right? I say the dating is a market. In the marketplace, there's a price that people are willing to pay and a price that you set for the commodity. People are commoditizing themselves.
It's starting to get heavy.
Is that a word? Yeah. Hey, this thing is heavy. Hey, I got a big head, but this thing is heavy too, and I got to set this off to the side here. But no, it's starting to be a lot more transactional. And you say that, it's all about love. Michelle, have you always been somebody that has been about love?
Always. 100%. It has never been a transactional for me. It's always been, how does he make me feel? Because that will determine if I stay. I wouldn't, there's no price tag that I would put on my time with someone.
How did you know your worth?
How did I know my worth? That took a lot of years and a lot of self-evaluation. For me to know my worth, I had to really sit down and ground myself spiritually and realize who I was in Christ. Like, that was my thing. I had to know who God said I was and what he said that I was able to do and be in him. If a man couldn't appreciate that, sometimes it would take me a little bit of time to see that, but there's no amount of money that you could spend on me. Like, I had this one guy that I had gone, like, hung out with a couple of times before I met you. And one thing that I remember, he was older than me, like significantly older than me, 21 years older than me. And he had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and his finances weren't the best. And the crazy thing is he had kids my age. That's
To me, ain't nothing wrong with an age gap.
Ain't nothing wrong with an age gap, but it did freak me out when I found out that his kids were my age.
Yeah.
Like, I think one was like a little bit older than me. I was like, oh, cringe, just a little bit. But that, for me, one thing that stood out to me that he said was that he didn't have the money to take me out the way I needed to be taken out. And I'm just like, never mind the age and you saying that. But you think that what matters to me is the amount of money that you spend on me. But what you don't know is what matters to me is the amount of time you spend with me. I am a time person. Give me your quality time, and that means, like, that's my love language. I think that also has to come into my value. I don't care about gifts. You're not going to make me feel any more special if you buy me a Rolls Royce versus you spending 2-3 hours with me, just hanging out with me. Like, that means more to me than the most expensive car in the world, because cars lose their value. Time can't be replaced.
Nope. I love that.
You go, you crash a Lambo, you crash a Maybach. Insurance will hopefully help you get that back, hopefully. But once time is spent, you can't get it back. So to me, time is way more valuable, way more precious. Give me that time. And I've always known that. I've always known that has meant more to me than anything else.
Now, I know it's different strokes for different folks, but how do we get people to appreciate what their value is, right? Without commoditizing it.
You got to lose everything in order to know what really matters.
Yes.
And I've lost everything.
Say that one more time.
You got to lose everything to know what truly matters.
Pause. After my divorce, I lived in one spot for a year, and then I had to move from that place. And I moved and I lived in the rinkiest of places because it was all that I could afford. And even before I moved into that place, your boy stayed in his car for a little bit. Not that long, but just to kind of make things work. And when I tell you that felt like rock bottom, I told myself, never in my life will I get back to this point ever again. Ever again. So I took my time. I built up my value. I got it to where I was comfortable and happy before I even thought about giving time and energy to somebody else. And let me tell you, it took hitting rock bottom to realize that. There are several people, though, that they may not get the opportunity to get there. I think it's easier for men. Again, I hate to split the genders here, but you have to understand where I'm coming from and what I'm looking at. Men have a harder time because they're not giving cushions when things go bad. They don't have people that they can hit up afterwards for the most part to get them to get things turned around. So it's easier for guys to I think that's what it is. I just had a revelation.
Come on.
It's easier for guys to understand their value because they don't get to play Grand Theft Auto on easy mode. They have to play Grand Theft Auto in real life.
Yeah.
And when they hit mistakes, there's not a golden cushion or parachute for the most part that can help them recover. They've got to put their feet in the dirt and grind. And ladies, not all, but ladies for the most part, have bigger cushions and things that if things, don't turn out a certain way, it's easier for them to just be like, I'll be taken care of by this. So they don't really get the chance to understand that value. Quick, stupid example is, tell me where you can find a men's shelter at. You can't. There's a women's shelter, it seems like, if you go into Baltimore on every 3 blocks.
Why you
Baltimore.
gotta talk about my city like that?
I needed, I couldn't
No,
use Frederick.
you're right, because I just, the semester just ended, and I remember watching The Pursuit of Happiness with my students, and there was a scene in there where he was looking for a men's shelter and there wasn't one. So you're right.
So yeah.
And in my head, I was trying to come up with a rebuttal. I really, really was. But even when I was like, but society has put that on us. But then I was like, you know what? Even if you look biblically, the man has always been the head, and there is no alternative for that.
Nope.
Women always had recourse. Like, they had something else that they could fall back on. Like, even if you look at the story of Ruth, like, she had something else that she could fall back on. Women, if a woman became a widow, biblically speaking, if a woman became a widow, she was supposed to marry the husband's brother, especially if she didn't have kids. She was supposed to marry the deceased husband's brother, so that the brother and the widow could carry on and have children in the deceased brother's name. So the story of Ruth, so stop.
The Bible, wow, boy.
But that's Jewish nomenclature. So the story of Ruth was the daughter of Naomi, and Naomi's husband had passed away. Naomi had 2 sons. One son married Ruth, one son married Orpah, and the husband and the 2 sons passed away. According to Jewish culture, the 2 daughters, since there were no more sons and Naomi couldn't give them any more sons, they could go off and they could marry someone else to be able to have livelihood. But Naomi, because her husband was dead, there was no other relatives, and she was too old to bear any other relatives, any more children. She kind of had to go back to her home country, find someone else that she could live with, because it was the responsibility of the men biblically, or families biblically, to be able to care for widowed women. Well, Ruth, the whole story was Ruth decided not to leave Naomi. So Ruth and Naomi moved back to Naomi's home country. Naomi was like, look, I got this one relative. He's a little bit older. And I mean, technically you're not Jewish, so, there's a whole thing. But Ruth ended up finding her Boaz. And then that's the lineage that Jesus descends from. Like, that whole story right there. So biblically speaking, women have always had a place to go back to, always had an alternative, but you never see that for the men, because the men were supposed to be the providers. Like, I can't think of anything. So I'm sorry, that just proved your point. Because in my head when you were saying it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a rebuttal, but there really is no rebuttal.
Hey, kind of on topic, but off topic. How much older was Joseph to Mary? I heard that was a huge age gap with that one.
Well, again, biblically speaking, women married off. So a bat mitzvah and bar mitzvahs are when Jewish people become adults and they're teenagers at that point. But typically what you saw was that you would have a younger woman who's probably like 15, 16 marrying an older guy, because the guy was established and he was able to afford being in that marriage and that relationship and being able to provide for the woman. So again, biblically speaking, men were typically older. I mean, you can look at Abraham and Sarah. I believe that there was a 10-year difference in between Abraham and Sarah. So stuff like that. Like, it just was what it was.
Whew, hey.
Unfortunately, I just proved every single point that you had. I do want to double back, because Sarika said, exactly, Queen, I agree with you. Give me your time, because that's something you can't get back. A man can spend money on you and he can take you out to eat, but if he don't give you his time, he don't care. And she also said that was her love language. And again, I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Time to me will always mean more to me than money. And I know, like, in general, in our relationship, you're not a big gift giver, which doesn't matter to me at all. Like, you haven't heard me complain or say anything about it, because I don't care. You not giving me a gift doesn't tell me that you don't love me. You not spending time with me says that to me.
Oh, it does 100%. We wouldn't be in a relationship if I felt like my time was too valuable to be with you.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be together from both standpoints. You would see that and go, hey, this is a man who doesn't have the time to give me to cultivate this relationship. I'm out because I need that. And I wouldn't blame you if that was the case.
Yeah.
Right? And the moment that you could probably tell, and this was because I wasn't saying it, but when I was giving you time, that was me saying that, look, I actually like you. I realized that now. I didn't know how to say that then, but I always.
I gotta give you I gotta get up and give you a kiss.
Yeah. I didn't know how to say that then, but I do know, and I tell all men because I have conversations with men trying to help mentor men understand things, that your time is the most precious thing you can offer anybody. Somebody told me today, hey man, I ain't heard from you in a while, yada yada. I'm like, when you message me, I be working. If I'm not working, I'm producing live streams, editing videos. I've committed going to the gym at minimum 3 times a week.
Oh no, 3, because we gotta practice our ASL.
Practicing ASL. A minimum 3 times a week. I don't like that. I've been doing this my entire life.
I know, but we gotta
This is.
and it's this way.
I thought you put the part anyway.
No, under 5 and under is palm facing you.
Okay.
So it's 30.
Yeah.
I know.
Her and I are taking American Sign Language together. Again, something to try to build value, and it's us spending time together, right? So realizing that time was the most important thing, that's the one thing that I tell people. And I say, hey, look, when I have the ability, I'll reach back to you, but I don't have the time, and I have to prioritize that. Or, A, knowing my worth, if you want to have a consult or something like that, there's a price that goes with that. There's a price that goes. I had a consult just after Thanksgiving where I told somebody, I said, hey, it's not that I don't want to I see you reaching out to me, but time is money. And he said, well, hey, how about I compensate you? Here's my scheduling thing. I get on my schedule. Here's how I take payment, yada, yada. And I actually need to follow up with the person to see if they actually took my advice. Because that's the other thing, too. I've been talking to people offering advice until I'm blue in the face.
Yeah,
really solid stuff.
You better than me.
And they don't listen. And then I'll think about that and I go, I just wasted that time with them because they didn't have any investment in it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not caring because they don't have any skin in the game. Exactly. So by charging people for consults, you're putting skin in the game. I've paid people for consults about how to improve YouTube and social media and speaking and things like that. It's putting skin in the game. I joined Toastmasters just to improve on my public speaking.
Right.
So that when I come and do these live streams, I'm not a babbling idiot.
I still my weight.
I do too. There are still some ums and some likes and some souls. But we're getting better.
So I realize the reason why I do that despite the investment is because when I'm comfortable and I'm talking, I throw all of those grammatical structures out the window.
We need to work on that.
But why I'm comfortable around you?
We trying to be some good producing people on these YouTube streets.
Excuse me, but on the flip side, one of the greatest compliments that we got is our authenticity.
Man, authenticate these. We got somebody watching as well. Hey, salute to y'all. If you're watching and there's a like button on the platform that you're watching it on, hit that like button for us. That helps us out. The comments that y'all send helps with the engagement. We prefer, here's another thing. We prefer live streams because live streams gives you the back and forth. Now, we're typically live for about an hour-ish. We know some people can't hang out the entire time. That's fine. So whether you're in for 5 minutes, half an hour, or for the entire thing, we appreciate that. We made a decision to do live because we value the engagement more than recording, putting the video out there, and then it's out there in the ethernets. George Bush's internets.
And then let's be really honest and call a spade a spade. Pre-recording stuff takes more time.
It does.
Takes way more time.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I'm gonna say it.
But doing pre-recorded videos do take time because you got to do all the editing. And, like that one person said, ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Did we miss anything about knowing your worth? We could talk about this for a lot, but we are time bound. We got like 15 minutes.
So the one thing I will say is, like you said earlier, we are live streaming on someone's channel, and I feel like he is the perfect example of knowing your worth. He is an amazing, amazing videographer down in ATL, Georgia, and I wanted to know his price, because the reality is when you know how much you're worth, you don't accept anything less than that. So in a relationship, I know, if I may not know anything else, I know that I am a good person. I have a good heart, and I'm worth someone spending their time. I'm not asking you to spend money. I'm just asking you to spend time with me. What do you get back in that? You get laughter, you get fun, you get enlightenment, you get someone who's going to pray over you, pour into you, and do whatever I can to help you become the better person that you are. And you give really good kisses, because I give good kisses.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Right.
And really, everything that you just said is undervalued because you said it fast, but that's a big part of why I was comfortable exploring a relationship with you, because I saw you had the capability of doing that. And it's one of those things. I have to hold up my end of the bargain as well. And I say bargain because it's a discussion. I said, hey, here's me at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Here's me at a minimum. This is what you get from me at a minimum. I'm not going to promise you the moon, the stars, and the quasars. I'm not going to promise that. I'm going to tell you, here's me at a minimum. Is what I am at a minimum enough? If it wasn't, and you said, no, King, I need more, and I'd say, Michelle, I can't give you more, and you say, well, we can't do this, I'd have been like, deuces. It wouldn't have made me felt bad at all. At all. And sometimes people have to understand, just because what you offer isn't what that person wants, it doesn't mean that there's nobody out there that doesn't see that and they won't accept it either. It's not a rejection, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a better understanding of matching your worth with somebody who appreciates what you have to offer.
Yeah.
Right? If you would have said, I need more, I would have been like, I can't give you more. Bye. Or if you'd have said, I need more and this ain't enough, I wouldn't have been like Friday where she said, make it enough. I would have just been like, all right. Yeah, good luck on your journey. Anything else?
Nah.
I think we covered a lot.
I feel like we did. For those out there listening, do you know your worth? Do you know what you bring to this dating market? Are you willing to bypass those who can't meet your value just so that you can be with the one who can, for the possibility of being with the one who can? And what else you got?
No, that's it. If you don't know what your worth is, and you have to really sit down and think about it, doing a self-reflection is great. Having a conversation with somebody else that you trust who can be critical, I think can also help with that. So don't be afraid to ask somebody, hey man, let me have a conversation with you. I need to kind of put some steps around X, Y, and Z. Let me know what you think. You still have to be comfortable yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean you need validation from somebody else, but it can be a starting point to help you see the things that you can't see, so that you can start working on improving your value and building your worth. So that's what I would tell the person who you had that conversation with. I'd say, hey man, why are you saying that? let's take a step back and assess this. Chances are this person's worth and value is a lot higher than what they were giving themselves. Because the only people that aren't worth anything are your scammers and folks that are straight up degenerates.
Mm-hmm.
If you're above that, you have value, you have worth. You just have to understand what that is. And it might take some time. It might take a consult. We just plug that real quick. Or it might take you just having a conversation with somebody of the opposite sex. You don't even have to date them. Say, hey, let's have a conversation. I've done that. I've done that. I was like, hey, tell me about myself from your perspective.
Yeah.
It was humbling. Let me tell you, it was humbling. But I was open to hearing what the person had to say.
Good.
Well, that's our time, y'all.
That's all we got, y'all.
We normally don't go live on a Thursday, but we thought that this topic and this subject was worth doing together and impromptu. I'm going to tell y'all, selfishly, I just wanted to,
Ooh.
pause. Would you have rather done this or went and saw the boats?
Both.
Would you have rather done this
Both.
or went and saw the boats?
Both.
But we can't do both. So would you have rather done this or saw the boats? It's both spending time. Given a choice to do either one, which one?
Both.
No, that is not how this works. That is not
how this works.
That is not how a either thing works.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh.
I need you to answer.
It didn't matter. Time with you is time with you.
Pimp line. We gonna end the show. Hey, ladies, take notes. Take notes. Y'all heard what she just said? Hey, that made me feel like I'm the man.
Because you are.
Again, take notes. All right? This has been the King and Me Show. If you're not following us on our social medias, why not? We are also on TikTok and Instagram as well. Links down in the description box below. We'll be back this upcoming Monday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time Zone. Do you remember what the topic is? I never remember.
I don't even have a clue.
I think it's the...
Oh, something like, you don't ask enough questions.
Yes, you don't ask enough questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, this one's going to be dangerous. This one is going to be dangerous because guys in general don't ask enough questions. But the ladies, they will hit you with the who, what, when, where, and why. In they sleep, they asking who, what, when, where's, and why's. All right, y'all.
Wait, I think we said we were going to do this. So we were going to... So again, we're learning ASL, and we're working on it.
Okay.
So this is a growing thing. So we're gonna try to at least say, good night, just something. You ready?
Yeah, let's just do good night because I know that one.
Yeah.
All right. So we would do it at the camera. Are we doing it at the camera or are we doing it to each other? Oh, at the camera.
Yeah.
To the people.
Yeah, to the people.
All right.
To the people. All right.
Can we do it slow?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're going to sign goodnight, and then we're not going to sign the kisses, though.
No, we're going to have to actually do the kisses.
Okay.
Can't sign no kiss.
All right.
We're going to kiss.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you
Have
so much.
a good night. Yes.
Mwah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.